Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. What if I told you that when a woman truly desires an older man, she doesn't flirt first, she tests first, and most men fail without even realizing they were being evaluated? Before we go any further, if you value content that reveals the psychology behind attraction and power, subscribe to this channel and like this video. It tells the algorithm you want more depth, not surface-level advice. Now listen carefully. When a woman is drawn to an older man, it's rarely just about age. It's about stability. It's about emotional gravity. It's about the way he walks into a room without asking for approval. But desire alone is not enough for her. Attraction excites her. Safety secures her. And that's where the test begins. Younger men often chase validation. Older men who understand themselves don't. When a woman senses maturity in a man, she subconsciously wants to know one thing. Is he grounded or is he just older? Age means nothing without emotional strength, so she asks two questions, not directly, not formally, but strategically. The first question hides inside something that sounds casual. She might ask you about your past relationships, not to gossip, not to judge, but to measure how you speak about women who are no longer in your life. Do you blame them? Do you belittle them? Do you sound bitter? Or do you speak with calm accountability? She is not listening to your story. She is studying your emotional regulation. If you speak with anger, she sees unresolved wounds. If you speak with arrogance, she sees ego. But if you speak with composure, clarity, and ownership, she sees safety. The second question is even more subtle. She will challenge your frame. It may come disguised as teasing, a disagreement, a slight withdrawal of attention. She wants to see if you become insecure, defensive, or needy, because desire for an older man is not about wrinkles or wealth, or it's about steadiness. She is asking herself, is this man emotionally anchored, or will I have to manage him? And the way you answer those two questions, without even knowing you're answering them, decides whether she leans closer or slowly disappears. You were never told this, but now you know. Most men think attraction is about chemistry, about sparks, about saying the right words at the right moment. They're wrong. The truth is far darker, far more precise. When a woman desires an older man, her mind becomes a quiet battlefield. Every glance, every pause, every subtle smile is a probe. And if you don't know how to respond, you fail silently, and she moves on without drama. Let's dig deeper into that first question, the one hidden in the way she asks about your past. She's not asking for entertainment. She's scanning for integrity. She wants to know, can he hold himself accountable? Can he reflect? Can he grow? If your answer is defensive, if you justify every mistake or shame your exes, what she really hears is weakness. Weakness is the single fastest way to extinguish desire. Older men understand this intuitively, even if they've never read a psychology book. They carry themselves like anchors in a storm. Women are drawn to that because deep down, we all crave stability. But here's the trick. She will test it repeatedly. She doesn't just ask once. She injects it into casual conversation, into teasing, into what seems like innocent curiosity. Each answer you give, consciously or unconsciously, writes a story about your character. And then comes the second test, the subtle challenge. She will pull away emotionally, not fully, but just enough to see if you crumble. Maybe she ignores a message. Maybe she jokes in a way that tests your patience. Maybe she questions your judgment in a playful yet loaded way. Most men panic. They double text, they over-explain, they try to prove themselves. Every one of these reactions screams insecurity. An older man responds differently. He notices, but he does not react emotionally. He meets the challenge with calm observation, curiosity, and measured response. He knows that desire is not proven through chasing, but through steadiness. She feels the energy shift. The moment you remain grounded, you become the prize without even trying. And here's what most men don't realize. She doesn't even consciously know she's testing you. Her subconscious orchestrates the questions. Your reactions are the proof. Her attraction is measured not by your words, but by your emotional architecture. If you want her desire to deepen instead of waver, you must master the art of answering without answering, of passing the test without even realizing there's a test. This is where the men who think they're confident get it all wrong, and this is the line between fleeting desire and lasting fascination. Here's the truth most men never hear. Desire is never about proving anything. It's about presence. When a woman tests an older man with those two questions, she isn't trying to trap him. She's looking for evidence that he is anchored, that he isn't swayed by fear, envy, or neediness. She wants to feel safe enough to let her attraction fully exist without hesitation. Let's break down the first test even further, the one disguised as curiosity about your past. This is where most men make the fatal mistake. They recount their history like a movie, full of drama, justification, and emotion. She did this. He said that. It seems harmless, even charming. But here's the catch. She's not interested in your story. She's listening to your emotional maturity. She wants to see if you can acknowledge your past without bitterness, if you can accept responsibility without shrinking, if you can show growth instead of defensiveness. When you answer with composure, with clarity, without needing validation, something profound happens. She subconsciously whispers, "He's stable. I can lean into him. I can desire him without fear." That is the invisible doorway to true attraction, one that younger men rarely understand because they confuse chemistry with emotional gravity. Now, the second test, the subtle challenge, requires even more skill. She might withhold attention. She might tease, provoke, or even contradict you lightly. This isn't rejection. It's a measurement. Can you hold your frame when the world shifts unpredictably? Can you remain unshaken by ambiguity? This is where the difference between older men and younger men becomes brutally obvious. Younger men overreact. Older men, who know themselves and their worth, observe, stay grounded, and respond with intentionality. Their calmness doesn't just impress, it magnetizes. Here's the kicker. Women don't consciously think, "I will test him." It happens instinctively. She's wired to evaluate men who project security, competence, and emotional maturity. Your words, your pauses, your tone, all become signals that are interpreted on a subconscious level. You are either passing or failing without realizing it, and the paradox is beautiful. The less you try to prove anything, the stronger your desirability becomes. Trying hard signals weakness. Being anchored signals power. Being grounded signals security. So every interaction, every playful jab, every question about your past is a stage where your emotional architecture is being evaluated. Your challenge is to hold your calm, your clarity, your presence, and allow desire to grow naturally. Now let's talk about the mindset that separates men who fail these tests from men who pass effortlessly. This is where most advice fails. You've been told to be confident or just be yourself. But confidence without depth is empty. Being yourself without awareness is reckless. The mindset of an older man who attracts desire is far more refined, far more strategic, and far more magnetic. It begins with emotional sovereignty. An older man knows that his value is not in her approval, her attention, or her validation. His value exists independently. This doesn't make him aloof or detached. It makes him unshakable. When she asks about your past or subtly challenges you, you don't react out of fear of losing her. You respond from a place of self-possession. You are aware of her evaluation, but it doesn't control you. That is your power. Next, he frames every interaction around clarity, not charm. Younger men try to impress with wit, humor, or status. Older men understand that attraction is drawn to emotional architecture, not surface tricks. How you carry your past, how you respond to her subtle tests, how you hold your calm under scrutiny, these are the signals she's wired to detect. They tell her everything she needs to know about your stability, your maturity, and your desirability. Here's the key. When she tests you, the goal isn't to win or score points. It's to demonstrate consistency. It's to show that your presence is a safe, reliable, and compelling force. That's what draws her in far more deeply than charm or physical attraction ever could. Desire grows not through effort, but through unshakable presence. And understand this, women are masters of subconscious evaluation. She doesn't consciously measure your maturity or composure, but her body and mind register it instantly. Every word you choose, every pause, every tone is a signal she decodes without realizing it. Your grounded responses become invisible proof that you are a man worth leaning toward. The older man's mindset also embraces patience. He does not rush or force connection. He understands that desire intensifies when it feels earned, when attraction grows in response to subtle tests rather than being blindly given. She notices, and her subconscious whispers, that he is rare, that he is different, that he can be trusted to navigate life and her heart with confidence. Finally, he cultivates quiet intrigue. By not over-explaining, by not chasing, by holding his frame under every subtle challenge, he becomes not just desirable, but irresistible. Desire isn't created through words. It's created through energy, presence, and measured responses that reveal strength without arrogance. In the next section, I'll reveal exactly how to answer the 2 questions she tests you with so that desire spikes, without you even having to think consciously about it. Now it's time to reveal the practical side, the part most men never master, yet it determines whether she leans in or drifts away. Let's start with the first test, the one hidden in questions about your past. Most men make the mistake of trying to justify, explain, or impress. That's exactly what she doesn't want. She's not listening for the story. She's listening for your emotional footprint. The older man answers differently. He speaks with accountability and without defensiveness. He acknowledges mistakes honestly but briefly, never oversharing, never seeking sympathy. For example, if she asks about a past relationship, he might say, "I learned a lot from it. I understand more about myself now." That's it. No blame, no drama, just growth. That simple, calm phrasing signals stability. It signals that he can handle life's complexities without losing his composure. The second test, the subtle challenge, is even trickier. She will push your boundaries emotionally, tease, or withdraw attention briefly. Most men panic. They overreact, they try to reclaim her attention, they seek approval. The older man knows this is a test of his inner steadiness, not of her approval. He notices her challenge, stays grounded, and responds with light, confident detachment. If she teases, he smiles, keeps his tone calm, and moves forward without defensiveness. That subtle control communicates emotional strength without arrogance, and women are wired to respond to it instinctively. Here's the critical insight. The less you try to prove yourself, the more magnetic you become. Desire is fueled by emotional architecture, not effort. When you remain anchored, she unconsciously whispers to herself, "He's not like the others, he's steady. I can lean in without fear." That feeling creates intense desire because it bypasses logic and taps directly into her subconscious. Older men understand the power of non-attachment. They know that trying to win her favor signals weakness. They understand that desire grows when they hold their energy, when they remain composed, when they don't chase approval. She tests you not to reject you, but to see if you're worth her investment of attention and emotion. Finally, remember this. Women don't consciously evaluate you. They feel your responses in their body and intuition. Calmness, accountability, and presence communicate far more than words ever could. When mastered, these 2 questions become opportunities to deepen her attraction, not obstacles to overcome. Let's get into the subtle cues, the invisible language she uses when she's testing you. Most men miss these entirely, and that's why they fail without knowing it. When a woman desires an older man, her eyes, tone, and body are constantly scanning for stability. Every pause, every glance, every slight shift in attention is a probe, and your reactions, often unconscious, decide whether she leans in or retreats. Start with her eyes. When she's assessing you, she doesn't just look, she studies. She may hold your gaze slightly longer than usual or look away to see if you notice. Most men overcompensate. They try to fill the silence with words, jokes, or reassurances. The older man, however, meets her gaze calmly, holds his presence without needing to dominate or perform. That stillness communicates emotional depth that words cannot touch. Next, notice her tone. She may tease or challenge softly. The words themselves are rarely the point. They are the vehicle. She wants to see if you are easily rattled or if you maintain composure. She might lightly question your choices or playfully contradict you. Most men respond defensively, apologetically, or with over-explaining. The older man smiles, acknowledges lightly if needed, and proceeds without losing control. That's magnetic. Her body language also signals evaluation. She might lean in subtly when you answer well, or pull back ever so slightly when your response reveals insecurity. Again, younger men panic. They interpret pulling back as rejection and chase immediately. The older man reads it without panic, adjusting subtly but maintaining his frame. This difference, measured awareness versus reactive neediness, is what creates desire at a deeper, subconscious level. Even her laughter is a test. A genuine laugh when you remain grounded signals attraction. But if your humor is forced or defensive, she senses instability. Desire is not about being funny. It's about reliability, presence, and emotional consistency. Finally, understand this. She is not consciously testing you in the sense of a deliberate game. Her subconscious orchestrates the evaluation. Your responses, calm, measured, and anchored, become proof of your worth. She senses that you are a man who doesn't need validation, a man whose presence is safe, strong, and compelling. If you master these subtle cues, eye contact, tone, body language, laughter, you not only pass her tests, you amplify desire exponentially. You create a gravitational pull she cannot resist, even if she cannot fully explain why she feels it. Now it's time to talk about responses. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you exist around her, that turn these subconscious tests into undeniable attraction. This is where most men fail spectacularly. They focus on lines, tricks, or showing off. None of that matters. Desire is built on subtle signals, calmness, confidence, and emotional integrity. When she asks about your past, your response should be measured, brief, and composed. No oversharing, no blaming, no justification. A simple acknowledgement of growth communicates far more than a dramatic story. Something like, "I've learned a lot about myself and I keep growing," is enough. Notice the power of its simplicity. It signals accountability, self-awareness, and emotional maturity without begging for approval. That is the language of attraction she cannot resist. When she challenges you, remember, your reactions matter more than your words. If she teases or pulls away slightly, most men feel compelled to chase, explain, or defend themselves. The older man does something radically different. He pauses, observes, and responds with calm, intentional action, or sometimes no action at all. This measured presence communicates emotional strength. It shows her that you are not swayed by uncertainty and that your value exists independently of her approval. Your nonverbal cues are equally critical. Maintain steady eye contact without staring. Keep your posture grounded. Smile subtly when appropriate. These small, controlled gestures broadcast that you are secure, confident, and emotionally anchored. She reads these signals instantly, even if she's not consciously aware of them. Desire grows because her subconscious recognizes safety and strength. Timing is also crucial. Do not overengage. Let silences linger when they appear naturally. Let her energy come toward you instead of forcing interaction. This creates tension, intrigue, and anticipation, all of which make her desire spike. Remember, scarcity is not manipulation. It's natural human psychology. Attraction grows when it is allowed to breathe and evolve. Finally, integrate all of this seamlessly. The words, the pauses, the tone, the body language, they must align. When you do this consistently, the two tests she subconsciously gives you stop being obstacles and become opportunities. Every glance, question, or tease only draws her closer. She begins to lean in, not because of charm or status, but because she feels your steady magnetic presence.
Now let's uncover the final layer, the energy that transforms desire from interest into obsession.
This is what separates older men who are merely noticed from those who are irresistible. It's not about money, looks, or flashy gestures. It's about presence, mastery over self, and the subtle power of emotional gravity. When a woman tests you, she is searching for evidence that you are a man who cannot be destabilized by her moods, her curiosity, or even her games. She wants to see that your energy is anchored, steady, and magnetic. Most men unknowingly signal need, desperation, or insecurity. An older man signals something completely different: security, confidence, calm dominance that is felt more than seen. She feels it in her body before her mind even catches up. Desire peaks when your energy tells her, "I am here, I am stable, I am not chasing you, but I am not indifferent either." That balance, the line between detached strength and attentive presence, is what makes a woman lean in. She feels drawn to you because you are a constant in a world that is otherwise unpredictable. Her subconscious knows she can trust you, and trust is the mother of desire. The older man doesn't react to tests, he welcomes them. Each subtle challenge is an opportunity to show composure, intelligence, and emotional maturity. By meeting her energy calmly, he creates tension that fuels attraction. By not over-explaining, not chasing, not seeking approval, he signals worth effortlessly. She senses it and responds instinctively, leaning closer with every interaction. Finally, understand this: your words, your body, your energy, they all form an invisible language she interprets before she even speaks. Every glance, pause, and smile becomes proof that you are rare, steady, and grounded. She desires not just your company, but the feeling of security and magnetism that radiates from you. That is what makes her attraction not fleeting, but deeply compelling. This is the ultimate truth no one tells younger men. Desire is earned through presence, emotional sovereignty, and subtle mastery of her tests. When you embody this, the questions she subconsciously asks no longer intimidate you. They work for you. She leans in naturally, craving not just attention, but the stability and magnetism only an older man can provide. You now know the psychology behind her two questions, and more importantly, how to become the man she can't resist. Master this, and every interaction becomes an opportunity to deepen desire without effort, manipulation, or chasing. You become the anchor she didn't even know she needed, but can't live without.